Hey there, super friends. This is Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. As mentioned yesterday, not doing the social media spiel anymore because that is now being pushed as part of the description. I had to figure out how to edit our SoundCloud profile to include that information, but there's going to be an additional one now. I started a DeviantArt on the Last Point Gaming Facebook account. I uploaded most of the token images, mostly the better ones, and there is an image I did for a friend of mine that is as much in his likeness as I was able to accomplish because it's not really my thing, and it has his name on it and everything, so I don't want to post that out publicly without his permission. But yeah, you can find them on the Last Point Gaming Facebook or our new DeviantArt page. And as I do more artwork in that realm, I'll be posting there. Just thought I'd share, because I did talk a couple weeks ago about my token art. Most of them are hand-drawn. There is one, the zombie token, that was one of my first, pure digital drawings I did on the drawing tablet and everything. And, yeah, she turned out pretty good. The rest of them, not so much, but I'm still working on that skill. I am going to try to convert more to that. Just because, man, sketchbooks get fucking expensive. Art supplies in general are just expensive. Why? Alright, so what else do I have to talk about today? There's a popper deck. I listened to half the league. Seth over at MTG Goldfish, probably better known as Saffron Olive, ran. It's mono white heroic, and I need this deck in my life. Oh my god. It is just fucking adorbs. The amount of mono white commons that work with that, just mind-blowing. Of course, I want to put Squadron Hawks in it, because it's white, but maybe Squadron Hawk wasn't a common. Maybe it was an uncommon? No, it was definitely a common, because I have them in the green-white popper deck that my friend built for me. I'm sure that deck's not supposed to have Squadron Hawks. And Squadron Hawk's one of those cards you have to run none or four. But in any case, looks pretty neat. I felt like I had something to talk about today, and now I'm totally blanking on it. Oh, the Modern Super Team League thing. Checked that out last night, mostly because somebody tweeted out that Tom Ross was playing, and I was just like, oh my god. I'll watch just about anything with Tom Ross playing Magic. I forgot. I always put my window up when I'm on the bridge here. No, I was super jazzed about it. And Michael Majors made a surprise appearance doing commentary with Melissa De Tora. So I guess how that works, if you're not familiar, because I've never watched Vintage Super League because I don't really care about Vintage. It's taken a very long time to work up the motivation to care about Modern. Vintage is still a couple years off. Especially, Vintage. Does anybody run Vintage tournaments anymore? I mean, fuck, man, you barely see Legacy. But, in any case, I've never watched Vintage Super League. And I really wasn't, despite many personalities I follow being involved in this Modern Team League, I wasn't too interested in it. So, each team has 3 players. Once a player loses 2 games, they drop, and then the next player on the team plays, I guess. I'm still kind of figuring out how it works. And then I don't know if you win until all the members have won, or you play until all the members of one team are knocked out and then the other team's the winner. I don't know if there's a certain amount of won games that constitutes a win. I unfortunately didn't get to watch like through the end of the round because it was pretty late, and my admin has been sick all week with bronchitis, but she's been coming to work. I think I might be plague touched again. Last night I was hacking pretty bad. Today I definitely feel the drain, but so I ended up going to bed kind of early last night. So while the team members are playing, one member from each of the teams not playing, because I guess in MTGO you can like be a spectator in a match, and you get to see what's in the hands and what's on the board. I think the little windows pop up, in the hand section for like when you get to see like when you Gonti your opponent, or when one player Gontis their opponent and gets to see those top 4 cards. But those areas were pretty small, so I don't know. Anyway, and so one member of each of the teams that wasn't actively playing, they were doing commentary together. And when Melissa De Toro was doing commentary when Tom Ross went to play after Paul Cheon got knocked out, Michael Majors showed up. So that was like double excitement. I miss Michael Majors. He, I don't know, he's as adorable as ever. 100% able to be adored. Yeah, so I feel the need to clarify when I use the word adorable, it's not meant in any kind of diminutive sense, like, oh, look at you, aren't you just such a bunny? It's legitimately that I think that person's great. I adore them. Therefore, they are adorable, you know? Anyway, kind of neither here nor there. I think I need more caffeine today. I think I had not quite enough caffeine. It was a very warm day here, so when I ran out to get coffee at lunch, I got a Frappuccino, and that was a mistake, because 1, they're like 1 trillion calories, and 2, they put like the coffee mix in them, but it's not espresso, and I get an extra shot of espresso, but that makes the volume that it produces more, so I don't know. I may actually be on the losing end of the caffeine equation there with how much gets poured down the sink. I should just stick to like iced lattes and crap. But anyway, that's all completely not important. So it was neat to check it out. I have to go through and dig on Twitch and see if like the WotC Magic channel has the post-recording video. If they don't, like, if you can only watch this live stream, that's stupid. You should not do that. Also, Twitch chat, yep. Still not too friendly there either. Tom Ross was playing Infect, which, you know, anybody who followed Tom Ross back when he was a lowly player like the rest of us. Actually, I don't think Tom Ross was ever a lowly player like me. I feel like he was always like 20 steps above where I'm at now. But back when he used to, you know, play professionally, one of the modern decks he frequently played was Infect. He also did 8-rack there towards the end of his pro career. Made that deck popular again. Which, I don't know. I should probably hate him a little bit for that, because I really dislike the 8-rack deck. But in any case, so of course somebody made a joke in the chat because he was playing against Gabriel Nassif, which, by the way, I did have his name right yesterday. I'm excited about that. But made a crack about how he should play the Dryad Arbor because, you know, Gabriel won't be able to tell what it is anyway. I really should go check out that clip. Yeah, it was neat to watch. That's really all I got there. I do want to go and, like I said, see if I can find the post-recording video so I can watch, like, the whole batch. Oh my god. Not getting enough oxygen. I learned that from, like, anybody else remember the Mario Brothers cartoon from when we were kids? But, like, they had breaks, because instead of one long continuous episode, it was broke up into mini stories, I think. And they had breaks where they went to this guy dressed up like Mario. He used to tell you weird shit. Like, when you yawn, it's not because you're tired. It's because, like, your blood oxygen level's low, or you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain, so your body's trying to force you to take a deep breath to get more oxygen. But oxygen deprivation can make you tired. Yeah, no one's half the battle and all that shit. Man, it's been a slow news day. I do apologize for this. Oh, so the whole reason I set up the DeviantArt and everything and shared out these tokens more publicly is, so back when the PewDiePie N-bomb fiasco happened, this was sometime last year, and if you're not familiar, PewDiePie is, like, one of the biggest YouTubers ever, I guess. I'm not terribly familiar with him, but Philip DeFranco loves him, so he talks about him a lot. Not a lot, but generally scandals that involve him, DeFranco covers. So, he was playing some FPS, I don't know, like Call of Duty or something, and he dropped an N-bomb. Like, yeah, no, it was just kind of out there, and, like, if you watch the clip of it, you can tell that, like, he realizes right away, like, oh, crap, I done messed up. But he's live streaming. There's nothing he can really do about it at that point. So he just kind of tries to keep rolling, but, like, doesn't go back to that word. And it's created a whole big hubbub, and, you know, yeah, it was a mess. But when DeFranco was covering this story, because of course he did, he covered some of the fair use stuff. Well, not even fair use, because one of the causes people were campaigning for is that for whatever game he was playing, to ban him from being able to live stream because he derives revenue from it. And copyright infringement happens when you either profit off of somebody else's intellectual property that is copyrighted, or hinder their ability to profit from it. So, technically, by the letter of the law, one could argue that anybody who streams MTGO is infringing on WotC's copyright on that software. It's like, you're not seeing streamers for Arena. Why? You have to sign an NDA. Electronically signed, but you have to agree to an NDA, which of course stands for non-disclosure agreement, before they'll, like, when you sign up to get an invite, I've gotten mine, I just never downloaded it. Sorry. Because I didn't want to be in a position where, like, I talked about it on here and somehow that one blew up and WotC's like, no, bad. And, well, you know me, I just kind of rattle off whatever comes to mind. So, I, applied to get my beta invite. Before being sent a beta invite, oh my god, what? Slowest right-hand turn's always at that intersection. At least there was a car there this time. That makes a little more sense. Anyway, I had to agree to the NDA, and then, like, 3 days later, they actually sent the invite, but again, I never downloaded it. So, you have to agree to this NDA, which is why people aren't recording. They're not streaming, they're not recording it, because that's part of the agreement. And I know I associated my DCI number when asking for the invite because you stood more chances, like you were higher up in the lottery if you provided a DCI number than if you didn't. So this could, in fact, result in action taken by WotC, including suspensions, bans, whatever. Which, again, this is why I just never bothered, because the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't know. I could just see, like, going off on some tangent, talking about it, and not really realizing, because if you notice, days where everything's, like, real scatterbrained and there's no real cohesive topics, the cast title is, you know, something like no discernible topic or rambling or whatever. It's because by the end, I don't remember what all I talked about. Like, enough to even spotlight anything. And yeah, sometimes I go back and re-listen to them, but I also allow for download of my casts, because the one podcast app, Pocket Casts, I think gives you the option to download them. And as somebody who consumes a lot of online content, having the option to download is something I really like, so I'm not destroying my data plan by streaming things. So I allow people to download, so even if I caught it, because I don't always listen to them the next day, sometimes it takes me a few days until, like, I get through a bunch of other content I'm interested in, or, like, I really need to drown out noise at work, so I'll put it on and I'll listen to it. And even there, I'm passively listening to it. So my big concern was that I would say something, not even really register that I'd said something, and it would blow up and I'd get in trouble with WotC. Don't want to piss off the mothership, right? At least not. I'm only willing to go so far. So, in any case, technically by the letter of the law, streaming and generating revenue off of their product, they have a case to shut this down. However, was it last year? I think it was last November, they did an article on what they have decided they feel is acceptable use. I'll try to remember to link to it with everything here. And one of the things is that it's free content. So I think this may be why SCG has moved the Versus series to the select side, because I think they were in violation of this article WotC wrote as far as what they were finding acceptable for use for their product. The fact that the Versus series was part of the premium subscription model before on SCG, and you had to pay to access that content in a timely manner. Because one of the ways one could argue that SCG did skirt around that is, like, a month after the Versus videos were up in premium, they'd get archived to their YouTube. So you could watch them on the YouTube. You didn't have access to the deck lists. I found that out one day. I was particularly annoyed about that. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, you have determined that this Versus video is old enough that everybody can access it. Can you just give me a fucking link to the deck list that I can access? And I just paid them for my premium subscription and moved on with my life. So, husband's been wanting me to try to monetize the token arts I've done. And I think they're, aside from, like, the Ragavan and the Voja, the green white wolf token, that they're legendary creature tokens and I use the actual name. I think my card design is generic enough as far as, you know, how I do my borders and everything. Oh, and the Rekindling Phoenix token. I did do one of those. Didn't turn out great. It does not look like the image I had in my head. But aside from those that are, you know, pretty obviously proprietary, the rest of them, I feel like I have enough room to argue that it's different enough from the Magic card layout that you can't claim intellectual property over a zombie with a 2/2 in the corner. But I want to deal with that. And also, monetizing them, means that the next step is going to be churning out and producing more, and I don't want that hassle. Well, under this article, they would qualify as fan art, and as long as I make it accessible and don't, put it behind a paywall and everything, I'm cool to share them out and everything. So they are up on our DeviantArt, they are up on our Facebook photo album. If anybody wants to go check them out and you like them, feel free to download them, print them out, and use them. You may have to resize them because when their original drawing was the size of a Magic card. In fact, to do the borders, I used to carry an ad card in my pen bag, and then I lost it. And so the one day, during a break at work when I was working on one, and realized I didn't have the ad card. For some reason, I have a random Expedition envoy on my desk. I don't know why I put it there. I have no recollection of it. But it's there. So I used it to trace the border for the card and everything and appropriately size it. However, then, I take it to the scanner, I scan it, then I uploaded them to my personal Facebook, and then today, to share them out, I downloaded them again from my personal Facebook and re-uploaded to both the Facebook and the DeviantArt account. So in all of that scanning and uploading and downloading and everything, their sizes may have gotten fucked up. The aspect ratio should be correct, or at least close to it. But, so you just want to definitely print preview before you just print it out and make sure that it's not going to, print like full page size. But yeah, feel free to use them. I do ask, if somebody's like, hey, that's a kind of cool token, where'd you get that? Yeah, give me a little shout out there, but I'm not the token police, so I'll never know if you don't. But yeah, some of them turned out better than others. There are some that are like full color. There are some that are just the outlining. Because sometimes when I add color to things, it gets bad. Like Ragavan has always been black and white. It's just the outline. Because he turned out like really good. I'm really happy with that one. But man, a lot of times when I add color to something, it goes from, yeah, this is pretty cool, and then I look at it and I'm like, what the fuck happened? This is awful. This looks awful. And I mean, part of it is my pens that I use, they're omniball pens, like regular office ballpoint pens. I just happen to find a set of them in nice colors, or not uniball. I did get a set of nice Crayola markers, like their fancy signature collection, but yeah, they're markers. Oh, and I have Sharpies. There's always Sharpies. So I don't have super high quality art supplies. And honestly, I hate doing coloring in ink, because unless you get into some thatching pattern to build gradient, or use dots or hashes or whatever to make little marks, dots per inch, to be able to create a gradient, you have one color out of an ink source. I mean, with the markers, I can darken things a little bit if I do a second layer. But yeah, anyway, all neither here nor there. It's all out there. I am going to start working more with the digital drawing. So, oh my god, go, gas pedals, they're important. So anyway, under things WotC has determined is okay to do with their intellectual property, as long as I don't charge y'all for them, I can share these out. And like I said, I never really wanted to monetize them. One of the guys at the shop liked the Ragavan token I did so much that when I had originally posted all the images to Facebook, he pulled it down and printed one out, and that's the Ragavan token he uses. And yeah, I get excited when I see other people use them. It's like my artwork out there and stuff. I think I'm going to try, now again, this whole, like, doing a piece in somebody's likeness, I'm not terribly good at it. Like, all the faces I do kind of have one shape. But I want to try to do a token of Rudy from Alpha Investments as a pirate. That's going to be the next one I work on, so it may be a while until I post anything, or I may get frustrated with it, try and walk away for a little bit and, like, you know, do something else just kind of fun and easier. Also, there aren't many humanoid tokens that I've done. Because, yeah, I'm not so much with people. But we're going to learn some new skills. Oh, poor dead deer beside the road. So, yeah, that's out there. And I will try to remember to link to the article on WotC's version of fair use that they're willing to extend to people. I'd started talking about the whole PewDiePie thing. So there was a call for whatever game he was playing to ban him from being able to stream. The problem is, because there's no, like, actual firm agreement out there with streamers and these game companies, they just kind of, like, accept that it's good ad revenue for them. Or, you know, it's free advertising for the game, and they let their streamers collect the ad revenue and just kind of don't say anything. It's also why you see very few, if any, Nintendo streamers, because Nintendo is notoriously tight-fisted with this shit. Most other games, though, there's no formal agreement, there's nothing spelled out. So if you ban one streamer from being allowed to stream your game, when they challenge your cease and desist and your allegation of copyright infringement, they have plenty of evidence that there are all these other streamers out there that you have not hit. So it becomes kind of murky and weird. So it's neat that WotC actually spelled it out. And it also gives some leverage for people who are abusive. You know, a lot of people have very strong opinions on Jeremy one way or the other. And this particular article, the way it's written, because he did things like use Magic the Gathering, like the product name, Wizards of the Coast, and despite never claiming to have a professional affiliation with them, his videos were affiliated to their product. And this is a way that they're taking time to spell this out, because again, you know, when they banned him and everything, one could argue that he had some recourse, that none of this had ever been defined. So now it's all defined. So it's smart of them to get it, not really ahead of it, because they were a little late to the game in that situation. But it's out there. They have defined what they find acceptable and what they don't. And also made notes that they reserve the right to change these rules at any point they so wish. So I will try to remember to link to it. Hopefully I do. Oh my god. I'm so tired and I have such a headache. But that's all I got for today. As always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening. Go check out our my artwork, and I'll talk to y'all hopefully tomorrow.